Hiya, and welcome to Northern Lights. I played a little bit of this game, and that's about it. I don't know much. But seriously, Anthemic's music just hits different. Yeah, it hits different. Anyways, let's just hop right in. I already deleted my old save. Who am I? Well, There were only two things pleasant about waking up that morning. The warm, refreshing aromas of the bayou, and the knowledge that my friends would be here soon. For our last summer day together. Sitting on the edge of the bed, I glanced over at the nightstand and picked up a small geode resting by the lamp, turning it back and forth, watching the crystals glimmer in the morning light. The sight of it was always a comfort, filling me with strength whenever I felt weak. Cody supremacy! Ah! I'd gotten up early, taking time to repack my bags, hoping I'd figure out how to fit more stuff in. It was a losing battle, however, and I was lucky I could still fit everything I'd already packed back in. Hang on, I just want to do something real quick. Turn on safe for work mode. I should have done that already. Carefully wrapping the geode in my thickest shirt, tucked it into my backpack before wandering over to the closet. Fishing around, I made sure that I accounted for all the reels of film and that the small projector was packed. It's either Adrian, Aiden, Eddie, or Cody. It's that common. Those are so common names in furry visual novels, I love it. As I rummaged through and sorted the box, I almost couldn't believe how many movies my friends and I had created over the years. Suddenly, something tapped against my window. My eyes darted towards the sound, spotting Tobin with his casual, confident smile. Quickly, I opened the latch and the window slid up. Look at that smug face. Look at that smug dork. Look at him. He looks so smug. He looks so smug. Already, I love him. Already. I can already tell he is going to be my favorite. He's going to be my favorite. I can already tell. Tobin crawled through and stood up, taking a moment to straighten his shirt before pulling me into a brief hug. Tobin was a scrawny fox and one of my best friends. Puberty hasn't been kind, save for how energetic he is. He knows English, but like most Creole folk knows and prefers French. I do not want to butcher it, so I'm just going to say the English translation. Good morning, Cody. Ready to go? Bonjour, Tobin. I guess I am. Just hard since my roots are here and they want to stay, no matter what my pa said. 'Twasn't long before Liam stuck his snout through the window, grinning stupidly as he forced his large shape inside. The sill creaked and groaned as the wood threatened to give out under the big gator. Oh, he's so cute and nervous. Ah! The gator swiftly had its arms around me and pulled me into a crushing hug. My head pressed against his chest. His hugs always felt like being grain in a stone mill. At least his hide was cool to the touch, a pleasantry in this hot, humid air that was blowing in from the open window. Don't fret. Today's just like any other day, right? Too much squeezing. More adventures, right? Liam was squeezing all the air from my lungs in this hug. He held on to me tighter than I'd like to admit. I could tell he wasn't ignoring what would happen at the end of today, but trying his best to hide it. Ain't no adventure if he's flattened before it begins. Liam kept that dumb grin of his as he dropped the hug. It took a good moment for me to catch my breath, but I was soon laughing. Even gave a playful punch to Liam's arm. Hope you haven't eaten yet. Garth's got a special seed food boil going by the word of it. Heard it was for our movie premiere. Man, he knows he ain't gotta say it. They're always special. Of course he does. Maybe I'll fill up for once. You know what? I'm just going to give him a southern accent. I'm going to give Liam a southern accent. We all busted a gut when Liam said he might sate his appetite. All the feeling of dread leaving with our laughter, at least for now. Got all your things packed? Before I could even answer, he wandered the room and checked that I had nothing left behind that was important to us. Much as I could fit. Motioning over to the 2 stuffed duffel bags and a backpack that was strapped shut with the bungee cords. It would have to do. I just called it a fisherman hat. A firm knock drew all the warmth in the room away, my eyes fixated on that gilded knob. It slowly twisted like my gut before the door was pushed open. Time's up. Get out. Mind your business, you old ass. You idiots want me to call the sheriff? Cody ain't welcome here no more. Liam glared at my father as he moved to stand between us. He glowered at my dad, years of pent-up anger growing on his face. Oh, he's angry. He's angry. He's angry. Looks like he's about to stab someone. Or just punch someone. We went from abusive boyfriend to abusive father. Yeah, that's usually how it goes with furry visual novels. When has he ever been welcome in your house? You ain't ever been a father to him, just whipping out the belt whenever he fucks up in your eyes. Guys, you don't have to do this. Tobin proudly stepped up with Liam to defend me from my father. All you see when you look at Cody is a bunch of accomplishments you claim as your own and a bunch of defeats you don't want the world to know about. You're a pathetic, power-hungry cockroach of a man. How dare any of y'all talk back to me? Get the hell out of my house. He ain't worth it, guys. Let's just leave. Tobin grabbed the films, Liam the duffel bags. I grabbed the backpack as we pushed past my father. One last walk through the hallway, down the stairs, passing memories as we walked to the front door. Ma was waiting outside, tearing up as we stepped out. I used to blame her, but as the day grew nearer, I realized she was just as trapped as I was. None of this was truly her fault. I hope that one day she will find the strength to break with tradition and not be scared. In my heart, I knew all she would have to do is call, and I'd be there for her. I love you, Cody. Please send letters to your TD. She pulled me into a hug, and I lowered a bit, allowing her to lay a gentle kiss on my cheek. Of course, Ma. Love you too. Get away from him! Come inside, Fiona! He's not our son anymore! She stepped away, and Liam started loading my bags into the back of his truck. Tobin, however, didn't seem finished. He knew this was the last chance to say something. The fox stood between me and the door, staring angrily at my father, who watched on. Not a single piece of my great friend Cody is because of how you raised him. Nothing of his achievements, happiness, his time on this earth. None of it belongs to you. It never has. You don't deserve to ever be called a father, you shitty excuse for a man of God. Your judgment day will come, and the scales will never be in your favor. The rage in my father's eyes felt like the fires of hell on my fur. So great it was that the door slammed, our porch light fell, shattering against the ground. Tobin huffed angrily, turning away from the door, resting a paw on my back to push me away from the house. I just realized that Tobin is wearing an E.T. shirt. He just slayed wearing an E.T. shirt. He slayed wearing an E.T. shirt. Just let that sink in. Note to self, never piss off Tobin. I don't want to get massacred by someone in an ET shirt. Because that's that's just a double insult. Because first off, you have an amazing movie, E.T. He's wearing an E.T. t-shirt. I I don't want to get massacred by someone who's wearing an E.T. shirt. For the simple fact that, first off, E.T. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. He I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know where I'm going with this. Just it'd be a whole other thing because I guess he understands. I'm assuming he understands cinema. I'm assuming he understands cinema, which means that he knows how to pull out references. So, if we piss him off, we're fucked. Tobin huffed angrily, turning away from the door, resting upon my back to push me away from the house. By the truck, I turned to face the old house. Far better memories floated up at the side of it, thanks to my friends. His personality, you really don't want him to get mad at you or even a roast. See, I'm fine getting roasted. I'm fine. I'll be fine if he roasts me, but if he gets mad at me, I'll actually start crying. By the truck, I turned to face the old house. Far better memories floated up at the side of it, thanks to my friends. Even Liam and Tobin stared at the old house, a look of mourning in their eyes. Sure, my pa had never been very nice to me, but I used to like the house, all the years we spent hanging in my room and the garden. But a veil had lifted, in my first genuine moment of freedom from parental obligation, I saw the house as a stagnant crypt it truly was. We should head out, Cody. Tobin's voice seemed to shake me from my mourning, and I felt as though weight was falling off of my shoulders. I've been dreading this morning all summer, but with the door locked and the eyes of my father never to see me again, I felt happy. Heck, Tobin, you told Mr. Laurent off real good. Me? Look at yourself, big marshmallow. You never talk back to anyone. Tobin jumped onto Liam's back in a pathetic attempt to try and knock the gator to the ground. The sight of which drew a chuckle out of me, breaking me completely away from what little connection I had left to the house. Watching as they wrestled, I knew they were the ones that truly mattered to me. Always knew you had a fighting spirit in there somewhere. Come on, let it out again. The gator was laughing harshly, stumbling a little on his feet to balance himself, and the struggling fox grappled around his neck. Knock it off, brah. I ain't a fighter. Get him, Tobin! The scrappy little fox did all he could to make the gator succumb to the strength and fury of his pint-sized rage. But Liam wasn't having it, still laughing loudly as he fought to pry the fox off his back. Sacre bleu, it's like trying to knock down a mountain! Tobin let go with a loud, exhausted huff, straightening out his shirt once more, smiling at the still undefeated gator. We got a bit before the boil. What you want to do? Could go to City Park. One last stroll for all time's sake. Onward! Liam chuckled and climbed into the driver's seat of his truck. Cranking down the window, I scrambled in, sitting in the middle sandwiched between my best friends. We'd quickly gotten used to being squished forward, leaving room for the gator's large tail and my rudder having to find room on the bench seat. If Tobin wasn't so short, he might have been pushed right off the edge into the floor. To adventure! Liam's truck jerked to life and off we went. For the last time driving away from my home, I felt so strange. I thought I would have been more upset, but as we turned the first corner, heading for the park, all I felt was joy. Oh, I fucking love this music. I love this music. Like, if I'm not mistaken, this game is based in the 80s. Like, it's based in the 1980s. Like, it's so good. I felt was joy. Joy that I would not waste another day of my life under my father's rule. This was a chance to fully make my own way in the world. Actually be able to commit to my dreams, rather than those of my father. City Park was our first movie, yeah? New Orleans? Alright, I will be right back. I gotta do something real quick, so I'll be right back. And I'm back. I fucking love this music. So far, I love this game. City Park's our first movie, yeah? Oh, yeah! What was that one called again? Terror of the Mirror Bridge. I recited the title in my most menacing tone, hunching slightly to give my appearance a creepy factor. Foolish mortals, do you dare wake him? Tobin and Liam laughed softly, the fox playfully pushing against me, trying to jar me out of my Oscar-worthy performance. Bruh, that was so weird. I like to think we made better films since then. I don't think anything was better than watching you stumble around, wrapped in a bunch of foil. I can still hear that ear-bleeding crunchy sound. It was a pleasant memory, one that was fun to snicker at. Just the thought of the small gator wrapped head to claw in a bunch of foil waddling around a public park so as to not shred the costume was easily enough to rile laughs. Liam had looked like a walking TV dinner rather than the demon our first film featured. That is so descriptive. That was only our first go at it though, and we'd gotten way better at it, but we kept to horror naturally. Taking a deep breath, I bellowed to the heavens, unleashing as mighty of a roar as an otter could possibly muster. I am the mirror monster! Puny mortals, you have unleashed my reflective wrath! The outburst caused Liam to laugh so hard the truck jerked harshly as he accidentally pressed down on the clutch, while Tobin chittered with delight. Nope, still weird, no matter how you spin it. Besides, I say it better. What can I say? You've got a knack for it, Liam. I'm better off screen. Finding the best way to showcase you both. I like you better as a hero, Liam. The comment caused the gator to swell with pride, glancing over at the fox. You was just saying that to be nice. Nah, he's right. Truly, you shine in that role. Easy to see how much more you enjoy it. The large gator snorted, looking away, embarrassed by the sudden shower of compliments. Goaty is the best victim, though, no question about that. Hey! Yeah, he's got the best scream and fights so cutely. Well, yeah. Hush up. I couldn't help but laugh. The pair ganging up like that was always a treat in my eyes. So fucking wholesome. We made it to City Park a little after 11. The park was already a flurry of activity. Locals and tourists flocked here to enjoy the scenery. Large trees offered their shade, and a crisp wind blew through the park. A perfect day to relax with friends. The Princess and the Frog, oh shit. The park had its charm, and I couldn't deny that it was an eye-catching location for our films. But once we started to really explore the city, we found places even most locals don't know about. Forgotten hideaways where time stood still, each imbued with an ethereal atmosphere, breathed unique life into our films. We wandered along one of the willow-lined paths, until we came to what had been the starring set piece of our first movie. Without hesitation, I jumped onto the stone railing, not paying much mind to the tourists around. Beware, foolish mortals, for I am free, and will feast upon your souls. Gaze into your own reflections, and be lost forevermore. Fox, look upon me, and I will reflect your worstest fear. The sudden lunge into reenacting our first film caught my friends off guard. What fears would that be? Running out of honey? Tobin was quick to take on his character, moving behind Liam in a staged act of cowardice. Oh no, not my soul! Please don't! Hey, being short on nectar's no joke. Beignets just ain't right without honey. Liam swiftly snapped into character, taking on the heroic role that I once filled. Stand back, brah! For only... Stand back, brah, for only I know how to defeat the mirror monster. Liam extended an open hand to the air, pretending to hold a mirror in it, while Tobin stayed hidden behind the gator. Gaze upon your own foul demon. No! My one and only weakness. The infinite reflection. Twirling on the railing, I coughed and wheezed, acting up a storm in my own death scene. Looking back on it though, Liam really had done a better job of it in the movie. For my grand finale, I flopped on my back, splaying out on stone halfway over the water. I'm dead. Try as I might to play dead, Liam and Tobin's laughter caused me to break character. My own laughter joined theirs as I opened up my eyes to the vibrant sky reflected in the creek. They soon joined me on the bridge. That script really was terrible. Well, yeah. What kind of doofus thinks a mayor can defeat an evil mayor? Liam spoke in a way. That meant he was egging me on. He gave me a sly look, grinning. Hey now, what would you come up with that's so much better? Tobin soon mimicked Liam's grin before they spoke in unison. A rock! Just the lack, they aren't wrong, that's the sad part. Or the good part, I don't know. I began to cough and wheeze once more under a unified attack, laying so far off the railing I was hanging upside down, my thick tail keeping me from falling into the creek. I'm dead. Again. The gator laughed so loud it caught looks from a few passerby, and Tobin released a happy sigh, watching me dangle so precariously. You guys want some snowballs? My treat. Totally. Yeah, I could go for one. A little... I don't know how to pronounce that. Before the boil.
Self-voicing enabled. Cody, yeah, I could go for one. A little lanyap before the boil. Self-voicing disabled.
For a few seconds longer, I let myself hang upside down, staring at the shimmering, rippling creek water before slipping out of the moment, hurrying to catch up to the pair halfway to a cart vendor already. We ordered 3 snow cones, pineapple for Liam, root beer for Tobin, and cherry for myself. Finding a nice shaded patch under a willow tree, we plopped down on the ground. Nothing beats a snowball on a day like this. Guess this will be the last one, though. My whole body felt heavy as soon as the words slipped out. I had been trying to keep those thoughts at bay, though it seemed the happier I got, the easier things broke, though. That feeling of dread I'd been fighting off all week, creeping back in. I knew it showed in my face as well. The drooping whiskers, a vacant stare at the sweet cold treat held in my paw. What? They don't have these in Montana? Brah, he means the last one with the 3 of us together. I know what he meant. The fox snapped aggressively at Liam. He never did handle sadness well, and tried to deflect it with angry responses. Forget it, don't matter. It's my pa's fault anyway. Brah, it's not too late. If you want, we could probably still apply. Heck no, Liam, you and Tobin ain't gonna let them scholarships go to waste. It's not like it'll be forever. I just gotta sort my life, figure out a path, and I can transfer in a couple years, yeah? I guess, still feels weird. I know you've had all summer to get ready for it, just feels like it's over too fast. Your dad is a fool. He's not my pa anymore, you heard him. Better this way. I reassured Liam, glancing over at him with a smile, watching the large gator enjoy his sweet treat. What you staring for? Thanks for snapping at him. And you too, Tobin. You had it coming. As we sat there enjoying the chilly, sweet snow cones, everything slowly felt good again. Just us 3 friends enjoying our last day together. Let's take a picture together. I pulled my faithful camera from my fanny pack, carefully setting it up on a nearby picnic table to have us all in frame. With the wind of a dial, the timer ticked off the seconds. With the wind of a dial, Liam and Tobin moved in closer, lightly sandwiching me in the middle. Okay, that is adorable. Worth it. Oh my god. Yeah, I know, it's Haps. Yeah. It's Haps. I just want to say, I love this art. I love it.
Emotional damage!
I'm going to cry. Is this game going to make me cry? Am I going to start crying? If I start crying, I'm going to be sad.
Emotional damage!
I swear to God, if I start crying. Why the fuck is root beer flavor for Snowball? Why isn't it? Worth it. You two think you're so clever. 'Cause we are. Come on, the boil will probably start soon. We made our way out of the park, once more cramming into Liam's truck, heading off towards a proper Nolan seafood boil. It wasn't a long drive to the boil, and I was rather happily singing along with Tobin to a song on the radio, occasionally prodding Liam with an elbow to try and get him to join in, though he never did. The gator parked his truck along the sidewalk in front of a hedge-fenced courtyard, and as soon as we climbed out of the truck, the overwhelmingly delicious scent was all around us. The hunger-inducing aromas of a bountiful boil, with its distinctive spices, citrus, well-cooked vegetables, and seafood. Already we could hear the joyful chatter of neighbors gathering together to share the feast. Oh man, looks like we made it just in time. Pushing open a large wooden gate, we slipped into a true New Orleans oasis, a wonderful lush courtyard garden shaded with wisteria flowers dangling from a trellis overhead that spanned the entire courtyard. The garden was full of picnic tables, and there was hardly an empty seat around, the place packed with fellow neighbors, a few of my classmates, and even some of my old teachers. At the far end, a row of large stock pots were boiling away, nearing completion. I was so busy waving to some of my neighbors that I didn't notice someone sneaking up on me. Suddenly, a massive black bear scooped me off the ground. With so little effort, it made me look like a feather adrift in the wind, held tightly in the creature's arms. Bonjour, Cody! Garth? Ça va bien? I feel like I'm butchering this. I feel like I'm butchering it. The large ursine laughed so loudly that the three of us could feel the deep rumbling in our chests. Garth held his grip on me. Tobin and Liam knew it was a pointless effort to interrupt the hug. I got a really special boil for you today, Cher. Take a look, see? As if I was incapable of turning my head, Garth hoisted me around, once more letting me take in the wonderful sights of the boil in making. Wow, really seems like everyone is here. I never considered myself popular, far from it, but I had to admit it really was nice seeing so many people I knew one way or the other gathered for one last boil. Garth was beaming with pride, clearly happy he'd managed his largest turnout yet. Much as I tried to fly under the radar, people seemed to see me differently. In my heart, I knew why. I wished I could avoid attention. It was a truth that would make almost everyone attending the feast hate me without question. What did I tell you, Chef? Shush! How could I not? Yeah, let the good times roll. Exactly. Garth! Put me down! Please! I got some envies for some contests that only your cooking can fix! The enormous bear laughed and finally set me down, motioning with a paw for the three of us to follow. Y'all just in time. Come up front with me. The three of us followed Garth to the head table, which felt a little out of place, as we preferred to stick to the flanks, but I appreciated the gesture of the ursine, who was actually trying to make the event extra special. We grabbed a seat at the table with some of my neighbors and schoolmates, while almost everyone else took a seat after the bear whistled loudly. His volunteers began to lay out the feast, spreading massive halls of corn, potatoes, crawfish, crab, and I think I mispronounced that, sausage, and more on every table. I don't know how to pronounce half these words. Liam's mouth was drooling at the sight of it all. Tobin took a shell cracker and paw, and I had my eyes fixated on the delicious-looking spread. The smell of it was even better. Nothing in my mind could top the pure, unique personality that came from a Boyle's Secret Spice
And
blend.
Dewey.
And wheel. I'm just going to put in, I think that's it. And Garth's was the best of them all. Gather round, y'all, gather round. Now I knows y'all dying to dig in, but first things first, Cody, would you do the honors? The question left a lump in my throat. Public speaking was never my forte. Being in front of a camera gave me the distance I preferred. Regardless, I obliged the kindly bear and stood up from the table, walking over next to him. Now, I think I got it. Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah. Everyone in the courtyard took hold of a neighbor's paw and bowed their heads. Bless us spirits and these crawfish that we are about to enjoy. Bless those who caught him, those who prepared them, and give crawfish to those who have none.
Are you sure? It's andouille.
Andouille. Okay, I got it. We thank you for this wonderful world and for all that you have put on it. And we give special thanks for having brought the Cajuns and the crawfish to the same place. Amen. The collective crowd recited the amen with me, and I smiled. Glad I'd managed to pull it off without a hitch. Merci, Cody. Absolutely beautiful. I know we. You heard him? Bon appetit. I think I'm saying it right, but I don't know, and I'm so nervous about saying it. Like, I see French on screen, and I immediately start panicking. Garth took a seat with me at the table. Liam was already diving into a pile of crawfish, and Tobin was cracking open a crab leg, while Garth and I tucked into the feast as well. At least for a little while. The chatter among the crowd was minimal, everyone just digging in and enjoying the masterfully crafted meal. How's your ma-num? Ma's upset. Pa's, well, guess he's not my pa anymore. Garth narrowed his gaze at my response, easily picking up on the resentment and anger I was still harboring over my father's methods, feelings that were strengthened by the uncertain future facing me. After all, things really fell apart when I started looking for colleges. My pa refused to pay for any college that wasn't Catholic, which sent me scrambling. Let's not talk about it. Brah, this be worse than finding out someone put a curse on you. I could hardly reckon the day is truly here. As if Liam had been sitting with bated breath, waiting for his moment, he couldn't help bringing up the subject again. Not the end of the world, just a couple years, eh? Enough! He's right. Don't even think about it. It's just another day in Nolans. As we continued to eat, we were occasionally interrupted by neighbors and classmates popping over to chat, with quite a lot of compliments being heaped on Garth for the meal. So, are you ready for the premiere? Liam told me it's not all bloody. I like the thought of that. Just have to set up. Feel all tingly, though. Never had this many watch one before. Looking around, taking in the company once more, there were easily 50-some people partaking of the farewell gathering. I'd never shown my films outside club at school. The thought made me nervous. What would people think? It's not just the blood that's different. Cody was acting so different for this one. We found this old steamboat wreck in the bayou. He just acted so odd every time we were on it. Nonsense! I was just figuring out good angles and framing. Nah, Tobin's right. It's like y'all were always somewhere else. Maybe he was. Bayou's horror wash of strange energy. So many stories about them, there aren't enough days in a year to talk about them all. I was just impressed, alright? Finding an old wreck like that and untouched, it was a goldmine for us. The conversation had strangely put me on edge. It was just an old ship, that's all. We continued to dine, chat, and feast until we were all well full. I knew it was time, though. Everyone had slowly drifted back to casual conversation. Merci, chef. 'Twas truly a masterpiece. Just give me a couple minutes to set up. It was divine. I couldn't have possibly eaten another bite, brah. Coming from Liam, that was one of the greatest compliments Garth had ever received, causing the bear to chuckle softly. I left the courtyard for only a moment to gather the equipment I needed for the premiere. Taking my time setting up the film projector and screen in the most shaded corner of the courtyard, Tobin wandered over, watching as I spooled the film. Excited? Something like that. Who would have thunk I'd be getting the jitters? I tried telling Garth, not so many people. Guess where got out, though. Yeah, even Mr. Jenkins is here. Thought he hated us. Tobin glanced off to an older husky who was chatting up one of his female coworkers. He had been our third-grade teacher and always seemed to target us the hardest. Well, Liam spilled coffee on him. Then there was a stink bomb. How was I supposed to know it could do that? But you saw that effects book. We had to try. Liam pulled himself away from the crowd, joining Tobin and I as I continued to set things up. You talking about Jenkins? Yeah. Didn't know why he's here. Liam playfully punched me in the arm, eliciting a startled squeak, stumbling enough that I nearly knocked over the projector. What was that for? You both forget. It was a stink bomb. Can't believe you forgot. What about it? He had a reaction or something. Went to the hospital, right? Yeah, don't remind me. Sir, my pa went and bought a new belt just because of that. Well, where do you think Jenkins made his misses? Shut up. He did not. You serious? I can't believe you both forgot. Was a nurse at the hospital. Jenkins started being all nice after that. Heck, how did I forget about that? And here I am thinking he still smells like rotten eggs. Dang. Tobin, can you go set up the reel-to-reel? Almost ready here. The fox gave a nod, grabbing the audio spools, wandering off to get the rest of the setup done so we could get the movie going. You ready for this, brah? No, but fixing to do it anyway. Once everything was set up, Garth herded the three of us in front of the screen, gathering everyone's attention. Standing there with all those faces staring left me shaking. Tobin gently nudged against me after a few seconds. Well, go on, get it over with. Shuffling in place a little, I took a deep breath, attempting to steady my nerves, still wishing I was behind a camera rather than in front of an expectant crowd. Howdy, y'all! I really appreciate so many of you coming to this boilin' premiere. The more I spoke, the more my nerves seemed to melt away, speaking with a little more confidence with each passing second. Before we get things started, how about a round of applause for Chef Garth and his team making such a splendid feast? The crowd applauded the bear, who stood proudly off to the side, looking hot in the face. When the applause died down, I hurried to getting on with it. We've got a real special picture for you, I like to think. Tobin, Liam, and I are happy to present Creole Woods Widower Voyage. Creole Queens Widower Voyage. Flipping a switch on the projector, I hurried over to the speaker system and started the audio when a red card appeared. Liam and Tobin took seats near the front, while I stayed in the back, watching the crowd settle in for my most recent film. This was the first time we'd ever had so many spectators for one of our movies, my eyes darting back and forth between the crowd and the screen. I chuckled at the sight of Tobin in his white prom tuxedo, peering out from the deck of the old riverboat. A vixen wandered in from off frame, started to chat up Tobin before the pair started a rather sultry dance. This was our biggest production to date. After the film club found out I was moving away, we all gathered together for one last hurrah. As the minutes rolled on, the overall lack of responses from the crowd was making me nervous. No one had taken their eyes off the film. Though that left me to wonder whether they were fixated because it was a train wreck or if they were actually enjoying it. I know how I felt. Continuing to see all these small mistakes that I'm sure I was the only one who could see, though they still bothered me as I strove for perfection. See, I should understand this lingo. I should understand it. I should understand it because I know people who talk like that. I know people who talk like that. Hell, I'm pretty sure I'm related to people who talk like that. And yet I'm struggling with it. But then it happened. There was a mostly unanimous gasp of shock when the first unsettling element took place. Yet I don't somehow. I know. The struggles of being an American. Your brain can't understand its first language. Right? Like, English is my first language and apparently I can't fucking speak it. The Vixen was shoved by a mysterious figure from the bow of the ship. A look of terror in her eyes as she fell towards green flames rising from the quagmire. Say more southern euphemisms. I know. As the movie neared its end, the tension of the crowd was more palpable. It made the fur on my neck stand on end, watching with deep interest as the finale began. Fog rolled in around Liam, who stood menacingly on the dock by his ship, dressed in a bloodied captain's outfit, shimmering orbs of light behind him lining the deck of the decrepit boat. Tobin stood in shambles, his eyes looking heavy with an eternity of guilt and sadness. I can bear this pain no longer, please. Let me see my Esmeralda again. I have done all that you've asked of me. Forever will I live with these sins I've committed at your behest. Honor our bargain and return my Esmeralda. If that is your wish. Liam faded into the fog and the scene became sunlit. The Vixen stood in her shimmering dress at the top of the ramp, a hand outstretched to Tobin, once more dressed in his finest suit. Romantic music swelled as he walked up the ramp, pulling Esmeralda into a tight embrace. The glow of sunlight narrowed on them like a spotlight, and they danced. It's over, my sweet honeysuckle. We are together again at last. A blinding flash of light, and Tobin stood frozen in the dance. A knife plunged into his back, the Vixen holding the handle of the blade. The ghostly orbs returned once more, gathered around the deadly scene. Liam looming tail in the background with the red glow to his eyes. A sickly approving grin on his face. Now and forever, my love. Tobin's dying gargle was captivating, jerking and twitching in her arms as life left his body. After a solid 40 minutes, it was all over. The film ended, and there wasn't even a second of hesitation. The whole courtyard was applauding, some even standing up. The sight of it made my eyes water immediately, completely stunned by the reaction. Tobin and Liam were being mobbed with praise, pats on the back and handshakes. I wasn't allowed to escape the attention, as Garth had once again snuck up on me, sweeping me off my feet into another firm hug. That was magnificent, Cher! I didn't even try to struggle as Garth kept me pinned in the hug, walking me back up to be front and center to it all. Liam looked flustered, and Tobin looked as if he was standing a few inches taller, just trying to keep up with all the congratulations. I spent a good 10 minutes receiving compliments, and wasn't allowed to budge away as Garth kept a firm paw on my shoulder, trying to comfort me in the moment that was overwhelming both with joy and anxiety. Soon enough, the crowd began to part, leaving just the four of us and a few stragglers, still shaking with excitement as I packed up the equipment, watching Tobin and Liam bounce about. The fox grappled once more around Liam's neck. You're a star, Liam! Heck nah, brah. You's the one that made it special. I'm just a klutz. Tobin gently kicked Liam in the leg with one of his dangling foot paws, barking with annoyance. Yeah, what'd I tell you about selling yourself short? Enough of that. You're fantastic. It only took a moment of my back being turned before Liam had come over, pulling me once more into his boa's grip. Tobin still grappling around the gator's throat. Liam was laughing with delight, and I was as well, in between gasping breaths. Okay, hands up! No sooner had Liam let me go, and I was once more swept off the ground by Garth. I was beginning to feel like a sack of potatoes being passed back and forth. There's something I have to show you, Truz, before I let you get underway. Come along. Liam and Tobin followed closely behind as Garth carried me and led us to the brick wall that separated the courtyard from the restaurant interior. A large tarp was covering whatever he wanted to show us. The bear set me down and moved over to the wall, grasping some of the tarp, smiling warmly at the three of us. You boys know you'll always be special to me. If not for y'all working so hard for a year just out of kindness, this restaurant would still be here. It was only 2 years back when the gas crisis was still making everyone hurt. Garth's restaurant was our favorite, and he'd clearly been struggling to keep it going. The work was tough, but we spent a year volunteering our time to fill out the jobs he had to cut to stay afloat. The four of us had bonded tightly in that time, an unbreakable friendship. Reckon it's about time you got a little recognition. Garth pulled the tarp down from the wall, revealing a large framed photograph. It was the four of us gathered in the kitchen, some of us covered in flour, joy on our faces. I remembered that morning well, the bear teaching us how to make his famous Gruyere biscuits. Liam had been kneading the dough so aggressively at one point, left a small dent in the prep table. Chef, you're gonna make me cry if you ain't careful. This is beautiful. Now, where are we supposed to eat? Everyone will be pining over us. The fox spoke in a joking manner, which got a laugh out of Liam, the gator gently butting up against the fox. Shush up. If that movie is anything to go on, we'll have to get used to some attention one day. Garth took out 3 envelopes and handed them to each of us. A copy of the photo for us to keep. I held it close to my chest for a moment, sighing peacefully. Thank you, Garth. Oui, merci. We'll do it again if you ever need us to. Thank you, boys. From the bottom of my heart. Your family and Maya's will always be part of this place. Garth yanked me off the floor for one last hug, crushing me into his figure, chuckling with delight. The laughter was a little cracked, trying to hold back the sadness that lingered in the moment. Don't be a stranger now. Drop me a letter when you can. Of course I will, so long as you promise to keep those 2 fed. Always, yeah. I'll leave a seat at the table for you. Garth patted both Tobin and Liam on the back, before wandering off to go about cleaning up with his team. We stayed a minute longer to admire the photo on the wall, but soon walked out to Liam's truck. We left the boil with our stomachs near to bursting, and immense joy in our hearts from how well the film had been received. Bouncing along in the truck through the heart of New Orleans, making our way to a lesser-known park in the city. The park ran along the outskirts of the bayou, and had planked trails meandering through some of the swampy marsh. The entire park had a different feel to it, one that I found more relaxing and attractive. Man, that Boyle was the best one ever. He really pulled out all the stops. We wandered along one of the dirt trails, attempting to avoid the food coma that the feast wanted to put us into, perfectly content in the muggy afternoon. Look, I know y'all said not to, but couldn't help myself. Got you some going-away presents. Liam looked on the verge of tears before I'd even gotten half of what I set out. Tears that, no matter how hard he fought off, were going to happen. As soon as I fished around in my fanny pack, Tobin moved a few steps away, staring off into the bayou. Yeah. Even he was finally struggling to fight back in his emotions. Still hoping this was all some bad dream he would wake up from, any moment now. Slipping out 2 gifts wrapped in newspaper, I handed them off to my friends with a soft smile, watching Tobin turn his over and over in one paw. The gator was hesitant at first, but accepted the gift. Though it looked small in his hands, I had no doubt that it felt heavy with an emotional weight. As Liam fought back tears, his hands shaking as he fumbled with the paper, a distinct, all too familiar musty smell was wafting upwards at him. It told him what was waiting inside, without even seeing it. What he finally pulled out was a large folded map. The sight of the map unleashed Liam's floodgates, tears streaming down his rough face. He'd always been the softest one, not that we ever minded. However, the outburst caught the immediate ire of Tobin. Get a hold of yourself. It's just a damn map. Of course, Tobin knew it wasn't just any old map. It was one of my prides and joys, the past 10 years of our adventures together, all contained and plotted out on sacred parchment. Every shortcut, filming location, vantage point, and secret hangout spot. It had been years in the making, and served as a timeline of most of our friendship. Liam continued to sob, his hands shaking as he held onto the map. Tobin huffed and began to unwrap his gift. In his paws, he was now holding a small, soft, rolled leather case, and Tobin recognized it immediately. It was my set of lockpicks. The map and the lockpicks together had unlocked so many adventures, so many secrets, and so much joy. It was finally enough that even his tough temperament couldn't hold back tears. Struggling to hold myself together, I pulled the pair of them into a hug, with a few tears rolling down my maw. Don't stop exploring just 'cause I'm gone. I fully expect y'all to have some new things to show me when I can visit. Tobin remained quiet, a few tears still rolling through the short fur of his muzzle, squeezing the leather case in his paws, while Liam was fruitlessly trying to dry his face with his shirt. We have something for you, too. The fox reached into his pocket, pulling out a tiny wrapped gift and a sealed envelope, offering it up to me, which I gratefully accepted. The envelope is from Ma and I. The gator spoke in a choking voice, trying as hard as he could to get a hold of himself, not wanting to sully our last hour together, though his eyes still shimmered with sadness. With a claw, I slit the envelope open and pulled out a recipe card for honey beignets. Oh man, is this your ma's recipe? Not even Du Mons can beat your ma's. My excitement over the recipe finally got a smile out of the gator, nodding his head. Yeah, gotta give up the secret, just for you. Excitedly, I went about unwrapping the small gift next, quick to pull out a cassette tape. A piece of white tape was stuck on it with the words Cajun Summer written in marker. The clear plastic seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. Thought maybe you would enjoy a little taste of home when you get settled in. This is perfect, more than I could have hoped for. I've known these two for less than an hour. And it already feels like it's been years. What? No, I'm not crying. There's something in my eye. Oh, what's in my eye? It's tears! Both of my friends were smiling over the joyful look on my face. They'd always known I preferred simple gifts. Come on, let's grab some shade. The three of us took to laying on the grass under a large willow tree, my eyes watching the wispy leaves dance in the gentle evening breeze. I still can't believe it. Want it to be not true. Is summer really over? It's not fair, damn it! Tobin and I glanced over at the gator. For the second time that day, seeing the rare side of Liam ever showing a hint of anger, let alone be vocal about it. It's my fault. Waited too long to apply for scholarships and stuff. Guess I put too much hope in believing my pa would change his mind. At least I'm finally done with him. Can do my own thing, not be some dang walking trophy case. Well, at least one good thing came out of the way he treats you. You stayed in the same grade as us instead of skipping. Yeah, his one good deed hassled him enough to let me stay where I was. School sure as heck didn't care how I felt about it. Taking a deep breath, puffing out my chest before imitating the voice of my father. You'll never get anywhere in life taking shortcuts, Cody. I have to take the long way. Heck, what does he know about getting somewhere in life? Not a damn thing, if you ask me. Just forget it. There ain't nothing we can do about it now. It's not all of that, though. Maybe we could come for a visit during winter break. Yeah, Rob, that could be a blast. Can show us all the new art stuff you learn. A soft beeping broke through the conversation, the alarm on my watch letting us know the Reaper had come at last. The simple beeping put a painful weight on my chest, planting me to the ground. Reluctantly, we all stood up, quietly making our way back to Liam's truck. I smiled softly as I was squashed in the middle once more. The pressure of the two against me in that moment made me realize I was going to miss the small things the most. After all these years, I could hardly think of a day in my life where we weren't doing something together. Knowing this would be the last moment for a while where we'd still be enjoying each other's company was almost unbearable. We're gonna leave off here tonight. Fuck! Not even an hour in. Fuck! Ah! My heart! My fucking heart! Anyways, I am going to... Anyways, while I edit last night's VOD, I am going... After I do that, I am probably going to cry. So anyways, stay safe, have a good night. Try not to cry too much, and I will see you all tomorrow.